All right, so this year's iTalent competition is pretty cool. I think after the tidal wave of AI that we've sort of been barraged with over the last year, we're seeing some sort of brilliant basics in these solutions and some really cool companies as well, existing companies with new technology, new companies with new technology, and I think you're going to find this to be pretty exciting. So, without further ado, I'd like to tell you who these companies are. We've got Weave, i9 Everywhere, Next Wave, Verified First, and TrustSphere in that order. You'll hear from Yash Amberdarkar, Greg Newman, Ryan Hart, Kimberly Padley, and Mark Klemecki. The competition is based on 5 criteria: innovation, business relevance, global effectiveness, quality of pitch, and then the total overall score. There will be judging by 3 judges. We've got 4 judges. We've got Elliot Clark, Jerry Crispin, Johnny Campbell, and Bill Phillip doing the judging. And then the crowd will also have a participation in this and be able to judge as well. So do your best to pay attention and pick your favorite at the end. That's right, a little crowdsourcing. Every contestant will have exactly 5 minutes. At the end of that 5 minutes, the microphone gets turned off and the pitch is over. The judges will have about a minute and a half to ask questions to clarify anything that they're not completely sure about from the pitch, and then we'll move quickly on to the next. So, be prepared to get on and off the stage because this is going to be a breakneck speed, no holds bar, fun time. Okay, so I think it's time that we should go ahead and ask Weave to come on stage. All right.
All right, thank you everyone for coming today. I'm Kimberly with Weave. We are an AI startup based out of Seattle. Here we have 4 different candidates in different fields who all have different wants and priority when it comes to accepting a job offer. An expecting mother who wants an extended maternity leave and prefers company and community involvement. A tech enthusiast who wants to work with the latest and most advanced technologies. A corporate executive who is flooded with uninspiring job descriptions time and time again, and a recent grad who values diversity and inclusion, but also wants to work in a hip office with maybe free lunches on Fridays. They all have priorities, they do have one outstanding thing in common. Every day, they spend an average of 135 minutes on social media. Yet, when it comes to looking at the job descriptions that recruiters send them, they spend only an average of 49.7 seconds. Houston, we have a problem. Now, imagine if there was a job description and a talent brand that brings together information on a company's history, products, teams, people, culture, diversity, opportunities, technologies, and much more, all beautifully curated and integrated in one visual space, always up to date using the power of AI, and intelligently personalized for specific target audiences. I just described to you Weave's AI and visual storytelling platform, a platform that helps employers better attract, hire, and retain top talent, reducing cost and enhancing the candidate experience. Weave does this in 3 stages with our job description weaves, talent brand weaves, and candidate engagement analytics. And here you see a job description weave which immediately captures the candidate's attention versus a static job description. Weave houses highly engaging content, it showcases specific qualifications, the team, leadership, benefits, and a lot of information that might otherwise be missed. So instead of a candidate having to search for an average of 16 different resources, Weave spaces everything in one place. It's powered by AI, so the information is always up to date, and always from authoritative places. And unlike textual job descriptions, with every click, Weave tracks analytics so employees see what drives engagement. and they get to understand the talent pool that they are recruiting from better. I remember Jerry Crispin speaking at a luncheon last year, and he said and emphasized that the importance of data, getting the data on candidates, and that without that data, you're never going to know the answers that you post about them. The Weave engine does this all by analyzing the text and job description in career pages and mining publicly available corporate and HR information. Industry videos, photos, social content, testimonials, all of that ensures that the important content about a company is discovered and amplified. And more engaged candidates are happier candidates. They're more likely to apply, more likely to switch jobs, and more likely to become talent brand ambassadors. Weave's incorporated into the employer's life as seamlessly as possible, so there is little to no work on the employer's end. The Weave engine creates the Weave, and then the content team refines it. The employer distributes the Weave through existing channels and captivating email widgets. The Weave captures the candidate's attention with the engaging content, and the analytics are gathered, and then Weave provides the employer with analytics to optimize the hiring process. With Weave, there is no learning curve, there is no technology that they have to learn on their end. It is very easy for them to adapt. And on average, we are experiencing a full increase of 55 increase in engagement, 3-fold decrease in time to fill, and a 40% decrease in costs relative to traditional career sites and social gatherings. And then we are going to play our testimony video from one of our favorite clients.
Hi, my name is Karen Berdiger. I wanted to share with you my experience with Weave. I work for an executive search firm. We look for candidates who generally are currently employed and not looking to make a change. And I needed a way to capture their attention quickly that wouldn't look the same as every other outreach that every other recruiter on the planet does. I also had a situation.
There. Judges, do you have any questions?
Hi, Kimberly. Question for you. With regard to integration, it's a two-part question. So if a customer chooses to purchase Weave, I assume you embed on their own career site under their domain, or can do that? And if so, then do you have integration partnerships with the main ATS and CRM providers so you can suck data and it can be measured in that?
We can do that, but we currently are not there yet with our process. But that's something that we are looking to do in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else? All right.
So did you think just quoting Jerry Crispin would endear you to the other three judges? I loved it.
No, I think what he said was very valuable, and that's kind of what our whole platform is about, is capturing that data. I think that, that's a valuable piece of information that stuck with me when he talked, and that's what we do, so yes.
All right.
Just one suggestion I had, it was what I wanted to hear from your presentation, and just my bias,
Yeah.
was more on kind of micro-targeting and audience and target segmentation. I think using your content could be really effective in those two functions, and and I think, that's one of the more exciting areas we're seeing. So I would hit that right away.
We'll try to double down on that. Thank you.
If I can jump in, maybe I missed it. On that same point, I think that Bill made, I was expecting that when you go to the microsite landing page, it's personalized because of who I am, based on my demographics you're capturing through social or whatever it might be, so that no two visitors necessarily see the same data, as opposed to the data is gathered from sourcing from different places, but it's identical to every single person. So did we get that right?
It is not identical to every single person.
Okay.
As the more you use the platform, the more it will become intelligent and personalized to you individually. So we do have sign-ins, and you create accounts, and then after you click on certain weaves, it will become more personalized to that person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
well
much.
Well done. Okay, next up we have I-9 Everywhere.
So who in the room's filled out an I-9 for an employee before? Say aye. All right, so everybody knows how much of a pain that can be. So the first page needs to be done before the employee's first day, and then the second page needs to be done before 3 days after that. So if you're hiring foreign-born employees, remote employees, temporary employees, this gets very difficult. If it's part of your HRIS software, it could be very difficult because the onboarding at that point, it's too late. They've already been passed. If you're using your ATS, it may not be in line with that. So this is a great product to really get the form done before you're outside of that compliance window. And as you know, the stakes are high, fines are going up, immigration compliance is at an all-time high. They're out in enforcement. ICE announced in October they're planning on quadrupling the amount of I-9 audits that they're going to be doing here in 2018. So this is a great product to keep your crew compliant, to get these forms done, get them done before time. So the solution, the I-9 Everywhere, we've really virtualized the I-9 form. We get it done using the candidate's own professional and social network before the first day, taking all the liability out. We're also double checking those forms. We actually have instant messenger embedded right there into our app. So if that employee does have any problems, any questions while filling out their I-9 form, they can actually interface with one of our experts right in Dallas, Texas, that can answer any questions that they have, see them filling out their form in real time, heading off any problems before they become a problem, making sure that that form gets done correctly the first time, every time. We're also integrated with E-Verify. We have APIs on the front end and the back end, which is great because it's very simple to integrate with us. To start that process, the only things we need are the candidate's first name, their last name, their email address and phone number, so we could send them a text message and email with instructions on how to complete that I-9, and then their anticipated hire date, so we could send out reminder messages like 24 hours to your first day of work, 48 hours to start your new job, today's your first day, time to get started. So great product, and I'd love to hear any questions that you might have.
All right, so I could easily take Johnny Campbell's picture and Photoshop it onto my passport. So when you say that you ensure compliance, have any of your clients ever gone through an ICE audit to prove that your product has been blessed by the federal government as being compliant?
That's a great question. We've actually been doing I-9 compliance and I-9 auditing for over 15 years. We're one of the very first designated agents for the Department of Homeland Security's E-Verify program. The I-9 Everywhere software is new. We started building this in 2016 as the next generation of our electronic I-9. And especially in conjunction with E-Verify, it's almost impossible to beat because we actually have the employees upload copies of their documents. We have QC people that go through every document to make sure the photos are right. They match the information on the I-9 form. We have some photo recognition software in there as well where we can actually extract from the document photos, document numbers, names, expiration dates where we can compare those with the information entered on the form. So we have error checking every part of the way.
So, question for you. You have very beautifully, it seems, automated or made simple the process of completing one form in one jurisdiction, albeit a huge jurisdiction, the US. How do you scale this? Like at its core, what is your strength? Is it that you guys understand the I-9 form, or is there something else you are better at that you plan to scale to tons of other things?
Well, this is our platform. We're focusing on doing one thing and doing it the best we can. We're really the only company in the industry that's done everything on the I-9 front. There's a lot more that goes in on the back end. It's not just getting the form done. We also manage compliance, re-verification, expiration dates on those documents. With H-1B, student visas, J-2 visas, they're very complicated, very difficult to keep abreast of. And yes, US only, but there's a lot of business in the US for sure. This isn't a product that we would take internationally, but there's more than enough to do stateside.
Hey, Mark, let me ask the same question a different way.
Sure.
So what's your target market? Because there's a lot of big pre-employment providers out there that have onboarding solutions, the background checking, all that. I mean, so you've done a great job automating this core document, but how do you make money with it? Who's the target audience? How are you getting there?
So our target audience is anybody that's hiring somebody. So as you know, the workforce is changing with remote employees, with contingent workforce. It's very hard to get this form done on time. And then it's a different kind of form than any other form on that onboarding packet because there's real stakes and teeth if you don't get this right. With up to $2,000 in fines per employee. A Splenda that was on the board there, fined $94 million. I mean, it's a real pain point for a lot of companies. So staffing companies, people that hire people remotely across the country. We're actually in a pilot with Amazon. We've signed up a bunch of higher education organizations, LSU, University of Oklahoma, Oklahoma State. One of their biggest pain points is they'll hire 500 people in one day. The U.S. government estimates it takes 13 minutes to fill out an I-9 form, and that's if everything goes right. So it's literally impossible to fill out I-9 forms for 500 people in one day.
I would just say, when your addressable market is everyone that hires, you can burn through a lot of money going after that. So your success financially is going to be how you distribute the product and the partnerships and addressable market. And I would think really hard about that because the cost of distribution is going to be key for you guys and how you get to
And I definitely appreciate that. And partnerships are huge. We're looking at partnering with the ATS softwares, that really are engaging with those employees before the point of hire, before their first day on a partnership type program.
I have the dumbest question, which is,
Okay.
once that form is done, how do you deliver it to the United States government?
Okay, so you just have to have it on
Is
file.
it digital?
And in case they come in and want to see them, you have to have them on file. There's a retention period. It's 1 year from termination or 3 years from the date of hire, which is ever longer.
Do they still require it being held in paper as well?
And no, the electronic is fine.
all
And-
electronic now.
And it comes out as a PDF, and those are in our dashboard. And we also have a back-end API to where we can export that as an encrypted PDF directly out to your payroll system or HRIS or whatever document management system you have, so it could be stored in your system as well.
Cool.
All right, anything else? All right, guys, appreciate it. Thank you.
Nicely done. Next up, we have Next Wave. Good luck.
Hi everyone, my name is Yashin Bardikar. I'm one of the founders of Next Wave Hire, and together with my co-founder Phil Strazula, we started Next Wave. And we started this based on sort of observing how his classmates at Harvard Business School were looking for their next opportunity. And what we found was that the candidates who are the pickiest and the best for hiring spend hours researching a company. And they really want to know what it's like to actually work at that company in a particular role, in a particular department. And they'll take their time to research this. And we've spoken with a lot of HR and talent acquisition organizations, and they all want to do a lot more with employer branding and recruitment marketing. But the reality is, with all that's on their plate currently, they have a lot. And frankly, their batteries are pretty drained. But the best candidates are still looking. And the companies who are actually winning this talent are the companies that are focusing on delivering the right kind of content to these candidates directly on their careers page. So the candidate doesn't have to go to multiple places to find the information that they're looking for. They can go to one spot, get everything they want, and be convinced to apply. Now, if you've ever tried to ask for help from other organizations or other departments in your company for help with the career page, what we've found is that it's really tough. Other departments like marketing and engineering have their own priorities, so getting the support that's needed to update a career page for some of our customers took months, if not years, before they started working with us. So we have a solution for them. With the Next Wave Hire platform, our customers get a brand new, redesigned, content and feature-rich career page that they control with the click of a button in as little as a few days. On this career page, they're able to add photos, videos. They're able to use a survey tool to aggregate hundreds of employee testimonials that they can then add to their career page. Not the typical pros and cons that you'll find on Glassdoor, but actual content through text and video about what it's like to be an engineer or a salesperson, so that candidates can get a real, authentic, transparent view as to what it's like to work there. Additionally, department landing pages are really key here, and we found that they increase a candidate's likelihood of applying by 200%. And so what we find works really well on these pages is content specific to engineering or marketing or sales that a candidate who wants to learn more about those departments can then consume. And our customers are able to control this with the click of a button. We integrate with a lot of applicant tracking systems to pull in the relevant job listings and also provide deeper analytics into what's actually working. But most notably, we actually have an automated talent community that 3 to 5% of candidates who come to the careers page are willing to opt into because they're interested but not yet ready to apply. And so what we find is that they're willing to leave their name, their email address, and what they're interested in, whether it's engineering or marketing or anything like that. And with that, we're able to use the content that our customers have aggregated through our platform, as well as our software, to automatically send specific, relevant, targeted emails to each of these candidates for information that they're interested in, not just general email blasts. But the most important thing I want to leave you with is that our customers are able to control everything that's on this page without the need of marketing or engineering. They can do that through the platform. So how are companies benefiting from this? For one, some of our customers are getting 200% the amount of quality applicants. And we know this by looking at their previous data before joining with Next Wave Hire and the data after getting set up. And this is because candidates are finding all the content that they're looking for right in one place where the job listings are, and they don't have to go other places. Additionally, our talent communities are 100% engaged, so candidates are actually getting emails compared to the 1% of companies who have talent communities who never send an email to candidates, and we found that through a Smashfly study. And finally, HR has full control over everything. So with that, I'd like to show a video testimonial from one of our customers.
Hi, I'm Seth Matheson, Director of Talent Acquisition for Toast. As number 3 on Deloitte's fastest growing tech companies in the United States, we need to have a really good face of our organization from a talent perspective. NextWave has really helped us take that to the next level with our career site. We have talent communities, we have testimonials from our employees, and we have a really nice flow to everything that we've been putting out there. Additionally, they've made it super easy for us to change content out on a regular basis because as our business continues to evolve, we need to make sure we're putting out the next best thing.
Thanks a lot. Any questions?
I'm going to jump in, Yash, with a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So there are lots of players who deliver solutions like this for customers. You mentioned Smashfly. They have a solution where they can do this in career branding. And others have built-in chat tools, which are almost expected now at this level and so on and so forth. What's unique about your offering? Why, if I'm considering all these different competing vendors, what is so different about what you guys do? Because it's a product market fit for sure. People have this pain, they'll spend money, but there's lots of others who do this and have been doing it longer. So why are you guys unique?
In one word, simplicity. In a matter of minutes and seconds, customers can update content. And one of our customers got a brand new career page with 75 testimonials from employees in a matter of 2 days, 2 business days. So one is speed. Smashfly is actually a partner of ours. They service really large customers, like Fortune 500, 1,000 customers. When they come across a customer or a lead that is too small for them, they actually pass it to us. And we service the small and medium-sized enterprises who don't have the resources that a customer the size of Smashfly's customers would typically, would have, right? So we are able to, on a limited resource team, give them a really simple solution that they can walk through themselves, and we queue it up with a lot of great content that we know will work really well.
It's great. Now, I'd recommend that if you're pitching this again or to a customer, call that out at the start. Mm-hmm. Identify speed as the pain, if it is the pain, and it's the one you deliver a really unique solution around, and you're built for the small to medium-sized company. I think that people like to hear that personalization in the pitch and the focus, and if that is the real strength, I'd call that out, call the data out that proves that as well. It'll be much stronger.
Yeah. Thank you.
I would only just add to that the marketplace for really small firms that fundamentally just do not have the resources or the time to put stuff together for themselves are obviously your target base. And actually, the smaller the better. So if you can put that more up front,
okay,
they'll recognize themselves as potential customers for you. And I think that's an extraordinary place to start.
Thank you for the feedback.
Yeah, just one quick question. You referenced a lot of outcomes for people who are using your platform. And to Jerry's point, I think you also have to look at it and say, well, as part of it, you say, well, you can curate it yourself. They already don't have time to do what they're doing. So you've got to be careful with that aspect of it, because while it may be harder to do it through an ATS partner to have them update your career page, et cetera, I'm not sure that some of the internal HR people have that time. How many customers are currently on the platform? Because you referenced a lot of sort of outcomes data, but if it's like from 2 existing installs, I'd like to know that versus you have 50.
No, we're above 40, shy of 50, yes.
Okay, all right, so there is some good sample
Yeah.
size. All right.
Any others? All right, thank you.
Up next, we have Verified First.
My name is Dan Hurtubise, and I'm the Vice President of Platform and Partnerships here at Greenhouse. Greenhouse now has the largest, fastest growing ecosystem of integration partners in our industry. But its strength isn't its numbers alone. It's that we partner with folks like Verified First, who are customer focused and have the strong technical capabilities to build a quick, seamless integration to our mutual customers. We look forward to continue working with Verified First to bring creativity and innovation to our industry.
All right, my name is Ryan Hart, Director of Product at Verified First, and today I get to share with you our patent pending secret sauce of how we do what we do. We found a way to take the process of integrating your applicant tracking system, or your HRIS, to your background screening provider from a typical 6-week turnaround time to where the most recent one I did for a client took 5 minutes, and that included configuring and training. We currently have 88 integrations in the industry. I couldn't fit them all in one slide. With these, we have 58 official partnerships, and all this has been accomplished in the last year with the help of my colleague Ian. So I'm going to show you what this looks like inside of Greenhouse, who's a great partner of ours. So the first step to install is we use a browser integration to do what we do. We have it for all of the major browsers. And so this link actually tells what browser you're using and presents you with the link to install. So we're going to use Chrome, for example. 58% of all our users use Chrome. So here with 2 clicks, you're integrated. It's that quick. Now we're going to show you how to configure it. Configuration starts by clicking the icon in your browser. You would configure your packages. You can rename them, control exactly what's in a package. Nothing is hard-coded. We'll give you a description and a price for each one. Then you can configure your users. Users are separate from your ATS users. So this allows you to fine-tune exact permissions of who can see what and who can do what within Verified First. The next step is how to order. So right here you'll see a teal button. We've matched our button to the Greenhouse user interface. So that button isn't there unless you install our extension. We actually inject code into the HTML. It's also a status button. So as I go through this demonstration, you'll see that it changes and shows you exactly what step they are in the process. So if I click it, it will pre-fill the name and the email address and any other information you want from the page to pre-fill into the process. You can actually select which package you want to run. So a lot of ATSs are hard coding one package, and you don't have the flexibility. Well, we give that back to you. Also, we've integrated with Mailbox Layer, where we can verify that it's a real email address, that it will be delivered. So we ping the SMTP records. So how often in your hiring process do you get bad data put into the funnel, and then 3 days later you find out that a candidate never even got the email? That affects your hiring time, or time to hire. And then you have 2 methods to order. You can either click Next and check out and upload the forms that you've collected, or you can send the email invitation. And I'll show you exactly what that looks like. So, if we sent the email invitation, we're now waiting on the applicant. Many companies, if not all companies, care about the candidate experience and the company's brand through that process. So we care about it as well. So what we've done is we've allowed our customers to put their logos and their colors in the actual email that goes out. So, I mean, if you're getting an email asking you to enter your social security number and you've never heard of a single background screening company in your entire life, there is a conversion issue there where people may abandon the process, and we're trying to establish trust. So we've seen conversion rates increase by doing this process. It's also mobile responsive, so no matter what device you're on, you can fill it out, and you can text message it. So time to hire matters. The average email is open in 24 hours. The average text is 5 minutes. So right there, we can shave off the responsiveness and start the process quicker. So here's how the results work. When you go to report complete, you can click view report, view the report, download print, and even take adverse action. You don't even need dual monitors. You don't need to switch tabs. It's all within your applicant tracking software. So everyone in the room, we'll go through the work if you want to take us up on it. I'll prove to you how easy this is. So you can email this email address to receive a example with your logo and your brand and coloring and everything, or you can text it to my colleague Tyler and he'll fire one off. So thank you for the time, and questions?
Ryan, so you 4 different browser extensions. Is there a way to use your software without a browser integration? Or, for example, a lot of financial services, defense companies, etc., would not allow the permissions required in some of those different web browser services that for you to deliver your service and might block you. So do you have an alternative, and what's your experience with those types of customers?
Yep. So this is one of 2 solutions. We can do the traditional API integration. What we found is that we serve our market is 100 or plus employees across the United States, 130,000 customers representing 80 million in the workforce. So really, if we do the small to medium businesses, it's not really a concern, although our partners have raised security questions, with which we've been able to overcome the hurdles and make them comfortable with what we do. But the larger customers, if we're serving an enterprise Walmart, right, and they use Taleo or iSIMS, we have API connector integrations where we can use that method as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe I'm just being silly, but it's not clear from your presentation, and I think it is important that you stipulate that you're actually doing the background check, not just providing a middle layer software to connect background checking providers to clients.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way you focused on the software, I was sitting there saying, well, really we don't know much about your ability to actually do the background check.
Mm-hmm.
We know it's easy to integrate you and set you up, but then what do I get out of that, right? So, some of your, if you're going to be doing background checking, the ability to actually select and whatever, the software is well designed, okay? And I understand to Johnny's point, but easy to use is going to get you a lot of business. So, but I think it's not clear, at least the way I felt this quick presentation went, that you're actually a background service provider that has a better software interface.
Right. Well said.
Thanks, Ryan.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you.
All right, well done. That was verified first, not verified next, verified first. Our final contestant is TrustSphere. I'd like to ask that if you have the HRO Today app on your phone, this is how you're going to vote. You'll click on the More buttons down at the bottom, and then you'll find the 2018 iTalent competition where you can vote. If you don't have it, start downloading now. This is our final contestant. Good luck.
G'day, I'm Greg. I'm the product manager at TrustSphere. We are an organisational network analytics company. What that means is we map the human networks that exist within organisations by scraping the corporate communication systems. So we scrape email, instant message and telephone data so we can in real time map the human networks within organisations. And our customers use that for things as diverse as identifying high potential employees, measuring the impact of leadership development programs, predicting employee burnout, and measuring diversity and inclusion. But what I'm going to talk about today is one of our simplest use cases, which is how we can use this network data to improve employee transitions when someone moves out of a role and improve employee onboarding when someone moves into a role. I think Can I do a quick audience survey? Has anyone arrived in a new job and had a terrible onboarding experience and been very disappointed? Put up your hand. Can anyone put up their hand and honestly say that when they've left a role, they've pretty much set someone up for that by doing a fairly shady handover and just quickly ran out the door? I don't think there's a little bit more honesty there. So it's a big problem in a lot of organizations. It's very easy to say when someone joins, there's the washroom, there's your laptop, get into it. What's really hard to measure is this, and that is the network of relationships that the incumbent built. What you're watching right now is my 3.5 years at TrustSphere. You're watching every relationship that I formed electronically built into my network map. Over 3.5 years, I've built 881 relationships. We only have about 50 people at TrustSphere, so I've got 830 external relationships. So what we've mapped and what we've made available is the starting point of the conversation to help us to offload those relationships, to transfer those relationships. Because we know that carrying them on is what's going to make the next person successful. So what we have is a very simple, I've gone faster than my graph. What we have is a very simple report called the handover report. So HR can run this for any employee and output all of the relationships an employee has. What we know is that by scraping digital interactions, we are getting the relationships that relate to work, innovation, and expertise. They're the ones that live in your corporate communication systems. So for an employee who's leaving, this is my alter ego, Rosalie. I've changed the names to protect the innocent. We can see how many relationships Rosalie has, how many of them are strong. We have a proprietary algorithm to measure the strength of relationships. And we can see what companies they're with, who is the human, what format, what medium of communication they have, and how strong that relationship is. Then we get a little bit of telemetry there about the nature of the relationship. When did they last interact? Who's sending the most emails? Who's receiving them? So you can imagine if I'm walking out the door, I can sit with my manager, go through those top 20 relationships and say, I'm working on a product, this is a prospect customer, this is someone internally that I do a lot of collaboration with. And the manager can then start to reallocate those relationships. One nifty widget we've built into this is called Links Within. So we can look at someone, for example, Sarah, and we can look to see who else has a relationship with Sarah in our organization. He boldly claims. Wrong button. So Links Within checks the entire network and then triangulates. Who do I have strong relationships with that also has strong relationships with that person? In this case, we can see there's only myself, Rosalie, and one other person in the company, Leslie. And we can tell by the strength that this relationship isn't particularly strong. So if I walk out the door, will Leslie have a good chance of saving this relationship, or will I be able to drag that off to my new job and my new role? So we've built this to make it easy to transition those relationships. What our customer testimonial video is going to talk about is how our customer is using that at the other end of the process. Every time someone joins this organization, especially in a sales-oriented role, they're given the transition report of their predecessor. We know very well that salespeople never put their relationships in a CRM. They're aiming to take them with them when they leave. So this customer is able to show that their salespeople are up to speed with their territory and the relationships they need to build in the first week, which enables them to kick off and start selling. I'll quickly cut to VA, who'll tell you a bit of the story from their side. It's a really good story. He's a really good storyteller. He says Greg's a really nice guy, strong relationship. It looks like I've run out of time, so we're not going to do the video. Thanks very much for your time.
I want to make sure I understand some pieces of it. So if I was to read that well, if I read that well, you're not only looking at the relationships internal, but also external to the company itself.
Yeah, so we start in the corporate domain. We don't do LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter. We look at corporate email, messaging, and telephone systems, and we measure internal relationships and internal, external relationships.
Internal, external relationships.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so that I got that. I was fascinated by a couple pieces, but one, who is monitoring this from the, because it sounded like the boss was monitoring this. The person who is leaving, do they see anything at all independent of what the boss will show them?
So we're a software provider, so we don't get to dictate how this happens. It's very much company culture and company behavior. Our big thesis is democratizing this data. We have a set of simple email reports that go out to employees that show them week upon week new relationships at risk. We love the idea that this is their relationship. They should be able to leverage it first and the company take advantage of it after.
Yeah, I mean, if I drink that Kool-Aid, one of the things I'd be interested in is the same kind of relationships of the person who's now coming in.
Yeah, so we don't have access to that because we're just doing it internal in the organization. If it's an internal transfer, we do succession planning based on network overlap. We can see how similar potential candidates are internally.
So you have the capability of looking at, or you've been looking at the issue in terms of succession planning or internal movement.
Yeah. We do things as diverse as predicting expatriates networks. So if you're sending someone to China, what sort of network do they have? Will it help them be successful in a foreign country?
Some interesting possibilities
there. This is like the NSA for HR. So the question I guess I would have is there a way that you can distinguish person, because we're also thinking about the efficiency of the person coming in. 831 relationships, but is there any way the system can tell which ones are personal versus business? You know, I call my ex-wife from my office phone, but I don't recommend her to my successor. Okay, I don't think he'll have any better luck than I would, or she, for God's sake. So what happens if there's 400 of the relationships are me calling my chiropractor, and that's a big waste of time for the inbound person.
So we have the ability to send this type of report to managers, so they can at any time with the HR backing look at the networks their employees are building, but we don't judge relationships. We know because we've surveyed and cross-checked the data that the primary use of corporate email is work, innovation and expertise. We all have private conversations, but what we see in the numbers is a work relationship is virtually continuous. Mentorship and expertise sharing or giving is spikes and troughs. And there's usually a pitter-patter of talking about football, the daily network, the wider social network, and the mentor network. But the volumes of communication aren't typically there. I always, though, show my wife. She always shows as one of my strongest relationships on mine because, I talk to her on work email.
Fascinating stuff, and maybe it was in the video, and I didn't see it.
It was a really good video. There was pirates and lasers and sharks. It was
maybe
awesome.
it was in there, but and I'm not sure I totally get it, but it seems like, why wait to the end? Why not do it real time? When you have enough data and experience, why not be prescriptive in saying these are the relationships that actually do manage? I mean, you've 24 hours in a day. These are the ones we got to get right all the time, and then be prescriptive. I mean, bring it more proactive than reactive. It seems.
Oh yeah,
like.
this is.
That's where the value could be.
And that's where our money's being made, right? So for one of the largest fast-moving consumer goods companies, we measure the impact of their leadership development program. How does a leader's behavior change? How does their team's behavior change as they progress through the course?
It'd be like, think of your sales pipeline, the relationship pipeline.
We also, our starting point was in understanding nefarious relationships. Then we went into sales. So we put all the stuff in CRM. So we see activity, all the activity between a prospect and the organization in Salesforce.
Maybe it was the dueling pianos last night, but I didn't see that. So.
No, because this is the most exciting stuff. Okay. This is a HR forum. I can talk for hours about sales analytics as well if you want to.
Greg, I think it's a fantastic product. I've seen several network analysis applications presented at this competition in previous years and others, and they haven't found a use case for it. I saw your initial graph and I was yawning going, here we go, and then you just had really great applications. That's awesome. I have a question about privacy in terms of, I assume you're not just looking at the metadata of the communications as in phone number to phone number, email to email, and length of email. You're looking at the actual, you can read the emails, you can do that kind of stuff?
No.
Okay.
No. So for us, the comfort zone between creepy and beneficial is just sticking with metadata. So we don't do content, we don't listen to email, we don't do any sort of semantic evaluation. We are a relationship analytics company. That's what we want to understand.
Okay, awesome. Thanks.
Cool. Thanks very much.
Nice job. Okay, judges. You have 30 seconds. Kidding. All right, audience members, if you want to add your vote, thank you. Please get out the HRO Today Forum app and click the 3 little buttons in the bottom right-hand corner for the menu and click on the iTalent Competition 2018. You can cast your vote now. We will close it in about 90 seconds.
Craig,
So
if I could, if you have an
must vote.
Android, what you want to do is go to the upper left-hand corner. There's 3 bars across, and then click on the iTalent, and it'll show you this this poll.
Okay, so I think that was some pretty good stuff. Great competitors this year. I've seen this competition before, and I always think it's enjoyable and fun and entertaining, but informative. And I think I learned a few things, and I wish I could have sat there and asked a bunch of questions, because I've got a lot of questions. So,
Dude, you're the sponsor. You could have been anywhere you wanted.
but you competitors, Weave, I9 Everywhere, Next Wave, Verified First, and TrustSphere, call me, because I want to talk, please. I'm easy to find, Craig Fisher. Okay. Okay, we're going to close the voting now. Hope you've all gotten your vote in. Tallying. So, how many people in the room have a flight to catch in the next hour and a half? Uh-huh. A couple of solid days in the office, never hurt anybody, that'd be good. I feel like I'd like to have a band up here. Drum rolls, piano music.
Elliot could do some comedy again. Anyone for that?
Do we put quotes around that, air quotes around? So, what I love about this event is that everyone's on script and everyone reads the script the same way. You notice that? Do you all practice that?
You mean our group?
Yeah.
Oh, no, they've been cloned. Why take chances with human nature?
Uh-huh. So, on behalf of Allegis Global Solutions, I'd like to thank you all for being here today. We appreciate the opportunity, and we are very eyes on new technology as an organization. And so, this is why we wanted to be a part of this, and we're really excited to get to know these great organizations that are represented today. I think that Zach is almost ready.
He's taking his shoes off, so he's counting big numbers.
Loosened his tie. The suspense is killing me. And we'll let you know the answer right after this commercial break.
All right, someone have a Ford or Coke commercial we can run?
Okay. Okay. So, congrats to all the finalists. The winner of the 2018 iTalent competition is Verified First. Congratulations.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, here you go.